All right, what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Welcome back here today to another extra SROS video. Today, we are going to be talking more trades. So a couple videos ago on this channel, I kind of did a random just Anthony Davis trade idea video, and you guys seem to enjoy that one. And today, we're going to do this with the Sacramento Kings. So last time I did a player version of this, today we are going to be doing a team version of this. So the Sacramento Kings so far this year, they're 5-13 at the moment I'm recording this. I'm recording this before they play tonight against the Phoenix Suns. I mean, the Suns have been a good team. They got some injuries, so not sure who's going to win in that game. You guys already know by now. But this team was projected to win, I think, around 36, 37 games, if I remember correctly, going into the year. They're the 27th team in terms of net rating right now. They are a bottom 5 defense. But what's more embarrassing, the bottom 3 offense. Now, I know Domantas Sabonis has missed some time, and he's currently out right now. I know that... Yeah, Shruder's dealing with a hip injury, but Keegan Murray missed some time to start off the year. He just recently came back, only played 3 games by the time I'm recording this. That is embarrassing for the Sacramento Kings, who kind of, their identity going into the year was offense. We have a lot of different creators. We have a lot of different guys that are better or that are good at different things. Like DeMar operates out of the mid-range. You have Sabonis out of the offensive hub, out of the post, likes to be a back to the basket guy. Zach Lavine can still be a 3-level scorer. We have downhill attackers that can drive, like Russell Westbrook and Dennis Shruder. Nothing's working. This team is all out of sorts, and I don't even know if like one of the better offensive-minded head coaches in the NBA could get the most out of this team right now. But the defense is pretty much on par as advertised. We knew it was going to be bad this year, and I wonder if this team is headed towards... I don't know if they could be a fire sale because I don't know if they have as many assets that are as attractive or appealing to buying teams at the deadline. But we're going to just kind of talk through, just chill and talk Sacramento Kings trade ideas that could make sense, could not make sense. It's really just me feeling these out. On my main channel, SROS, I'm going to be doing, I think on Sunday, a one trade idea for every team video, so be on the lookout for that. I'm using the spot track trade machine again. You can let me know if you like that or not. I can turn basically restrictions off, so something basically like if they can't get traded till December 15th, something like that. Now, we can go through a bunch of different teams. So first off, for the Sacramento Kings, there's a couple different ideas here. I think there was one that was intriguing in the offseason that we could talk about. Involved basically the Golden State Warriors. And we know that Jonathan Kuminga is most likely going to get traded when January 15th happens, and he's eligible to get moved because he signed a little bit later in the offseason. And Sacramento was interested in the offseason. I think they'd be interested again. You look at this roster, basically, it's a lot of guards, some forwards in a way, but I do think there are minutes for Kuminga to be on this team going forward. With the only forward that I honestly think will be here in 3 years that I can guarantee it, Keegan Murray. Can't guarantee Sabonis will be here. DeMar DeRozan doesn't even have a fully guaranteed contract for next year either. It's like $10 or so million guaranteed. So I think Golden State would be an interesting team. Now you're trying to figure out what Golden State wants. I don't think they're going to want to get another mid-range guy like DeMar DeRozan, although those salaries would get, they can match up pretty easily. I think for what Kuminga's age is, I think if Sacramento is willing to do kind of what they did in the offseason, like say we did Malik Monk, I don't think they're running back the Dennis Shruder experience. I think Keon Ellis has to be an intriguing player going to Golden State in this deal, which actually is successful by the with the aprons, including Kuminga, Ellis, and Monk. Now, draft capital I could throw in if I really feel like I need to. Draft capital could be included in this either way. I mean, I don't really think Kuminga has helped out his value this year for Golden State. He kind of looked bought in earlier in the year. He was making nice dimes in the preseason as well. The shot just isn't falling, and I think for what Golden State has, at least for Kuminga, not a big fan of this basketball reference update, by the way, where they have this menu. I guess it is easier to toggle through, but not the biggest fan. Either way, Kuminga, like, they can value his aggression because there's way too many times where, I don't know, Will Richards a 2nd round pick, even Pods and Melton, Gary Payton, Buddy Hield. Like, some of these guys are not really score first, or like sometimes Buddy Hield is, but you need somebody that is okay out of the isolation if Steph's on the floor, Jimmy's out for a night and something like that. Kuminga at least gives you that optionality, but he's just, I don't know, sometimes it's the ball stoppers. He's not knocking down his threes, and it's really hard to kind of acclimate him into the system. So yeah, I think there's a very good chance Kuminga gets moved because Golden State this year, if we look at what they are, that's not what I wanted to do. If we look at Golden State this year, they are 16th in net rating. They're a solid defensive team. Their offense, though, kind of needs some work, and that's where Pods could be on the table. That's where what's his name? Kuminga could be on the table. I think a lot of people are on the table. And I think for where Sacramento's timeline is heading, yeah, they could definitely use a Jonathan Kuminga type player here at the deadline as well. And I mean, Sacramento at least does own their first round pick this year. Like right now, they're 8th at the moment I'm recording this. I mean, you simulate the lottery once, right? Like how if they actually stay at 8 here, like the odds of them moving up, it's so slim. It's been done before. So I think you're looking forward to the future. You'd work on some extension with Jonathan Kuminga and you figure that out moving forward. So this is like a sense where they're not buying or selling with this trade. It's kind of like a lateral move, but it does, I think, make their future a little bit more intriguing. I'm not going to say Golden State is going to be desperate to move a Jonathan Kuminga, but Kuminga could just be a little bit beneficial of a change of scenery. So we'll see kind of what that ends up happening going forward. Now, I think maybe for this, we can go individual by individual. So if we were thinking of Zach Lavine ideas, maybe I'll go back to some Malik Monks. Like I'm kind of scanning through the Eastern Conference. Atlanta, no. Like Sacramento could do like one or two things, right? Like they could sell like a normal franchise or they could buy because that's what the Sacramento Kings do, right? They make some crazy moves. I don't think they're going to trade for Trae Young. I'm not even going to entertain that. I don't know if they would trade for Kristaps Porzingis, but I think they could. Like that would be a guy they would target and then they could extend. They have the financial flexibility long term. It's just like, would Atlanta want Lavine? Maybe. Would Atlanta want Domantas Sabonis? Probably not. Trying to find a team that wants Domantas Sabonis is really tough to figure out. Like the Pelicans, like they would be like, I just feel like these two, I'm sorry to their fan bases for this, but these two dumb teams might agree to a trade with each other. Like New Orleans has an incentive to buy at the deadline because they do not own their first round pick. So I do expect Sacramento to test the trade market. I mean, Devin Carter could be a change of scenery guy. Zach Lavine, like who would New Orleans actually trade for? Like trying to think Sacramento would trade for Domantas or Zion Williamson is blowing my mind. I mean, Domantas Sabonis is just a carbon copy of like Derek Queen in a way, but Derek Queen is making a lot less and not a carbon copy, but like you hope that Derek Queen can kind of be like that offensive creator going forward. I thought like Detroit would be an interesting team for Zach Lavine if they're looking like a true shot creator next to Cade Cunningham. Lavine is not under a bad contract by any means. Like I think you feel it paying him $48 million next year if he does opt in, which I don't even know if is a guarantee. But I think you're okay with it, especially if you're Detroit, not the biggest market team in the world. Tobias Harris, I know he's a vibes guy. I know he's like a big veteran in that locker room, but he has to be in these trades if they're going to buy. So I'm just going to throw him in there. I mean, like, let me just throw in LeVert as well. Does that get me close to the salary? So it does. Honestly, like, I don't even think Sacramento could get Jaden Ivey in a Zach Lavine trade. They're not getting Holland. They're not getting Duren. I don't even know if they'd want to do Stewart. But say you're Detroit, you own all your draft capital. You expect to be picking in the 20s this year. Would you maybe send a 2026 first? And I'll just do a 2028 first. It could be a 27 swap or anything like that. So essentially 2 first-round picks. You know one of them, as long as the season doesn't have an insane crater, like this can at least give Sacramento a pick in the mid to low 20s, maybe the high 20s if Detroit is as legitimate as like Cleveland was last year in your 2028 first. And you assume with keeping Ivy or that asset in Ivy, you have Duren, Cade, you have Lavine for at least the next 2 years under guaranteed money. I guess the thing is with Lavine, he could opt out. He could opt out. He could sign a 4-year, $100 million deal with somebody else. But I feel like Zach Lavine would want to win. I'm a fan of Zach Lavine. It's just like, I don't think you can ever operate, we know, with Zach Lavine as your number one. I don't think he's like a floor raiser, but I think he could be a ceiling raiser. And this guy as like an additional threat next to Cade Cunningham does intrigue me. He's 30. It's just like the player option. Like I truly have no idea if he's opting into that or not, or if a team would give him more guaranteed money. A Detroit fan may say, Matt, you're dumb. Like we're not giving up 2 first-round picks. Like I said, it's tough to figure out the draft capital. Like I don't know if Harris and LeVert would make this enough because Lavine was like the main asset they got back for De'Aaron Fox. But I like the idea of Detroit going after Lavine. Like we might do a whole episode on Lauri Markkanen. What I think Zach Lowe pitched, it was like, I don't even know. It was an insane offer. It was like an Anthony Davis package when he got traded to the Pelicans or to the Lakers. It was insane. Where it's like 4 first-round picks, Holland, Stewart, Tobias Harris. It's just a lot. You're kind of gutting most of your roster if you're Utah, if you're Detroit. So I think if they're not going to get a Markkanen, I don't hate Lavine as an idea as well. I mean, I'm going to bring these two teams together. Sacramento and Charlotte. Charlotte has been better, maybe as a better ran organization over the last few years, outside of some moves. LaMelo was in the rumors to get traded. He quickly debunked that on Twitter. I still could see the part of Sacramento saying, oh, we need a point guard. Let's get him. Let's get LaMelo Ball, where their contracts do match. Now, given age, Sacramento would have to throw something in there. I could see it. I could definitely see it, where they're throwing in draft capital, they're throwing in Keon Ellis. For Charlotte, you're basically getting out of this LaMelo Ball contract where he hasn't been healthy consistently. I mean, if I'm Charlotte, I'm getting either appealing Sacramento's first-round picks. I mean, Sacramento could just do something crazy like this. This is not what I would do. This is what I think they would do if they really need a point guard. Like, would Sacramento trade for Ja Morant? I don't even know if I want to entertain Sacramento buying ideas. Like, would they go after Ja? Would they go after LaMelo, Trae Young, Zion Williamson? Like, one of those, Anthony Davis even. Like, one of those distraught assets maybe going forward. But I kind of want to operate like we're going to sell. I think Brooklyn is a team you can call in the offseason as well. If they strike out on a lot of guys, they don't own their first-round pick next year. That one could make sense. I mean, Milwaukee, a team that doesn't own their first this year. They're trying to keep Giannis happy. The problem is they don't have many tradable contracts that can get us there. I mean, if you package away like Kyle Kuzma and Bobby Portis for, let's say, Zach LaVine, does that even help you? It's really tough. So the Kings, you're under by about 23 million. I mean, for the Bucks, you might have to throw in an additional piece. Say you throw in Kevin Porter Jr. with the emergence of, what's his name? Ryan Rollins. So that 3-for-1 does work. I mean, for Sacramento, you're getting a big. They've been intrigued about Kuzma in the past. I don't mind another high-level shot creator next to Giannis because we're seeing this Bucks team kind of crater over the last few weeks. When Giannis has been hurt, they've been actually one of the worst teams in the league over the last 2 weeks. So if you're saying that, okay, Giannis is out, which he's missed time this year, we can have somebody that can at least elevate the offense a little bit in Zach LaVine. I would assume that maybe some type of swap has to be in this deal as well. But I know Milwaukee's cutting a little bit of depth here. I think you're okay without Kevin Porter Jr. and you're essentially moving Kuzma and Portis for Zach LaVine. I actually don't hate that idea for them. I think another team like Phoenix doesn't own their draft capital. I don't think they'd be in the market for LaVine. It's just they don't need that with Kareem and Booker right now. Like, would they ever be a Domantas Sabonis team? They shouldn't. I think things are going well right now with like athletic, rebounding, shot blocking bigs. So I don't. Sabonis and Booker, I don't know if it's really going to work out that much. And you really have to trade away like Brooks, Green, Grayson Allen, maybe two of those guys to get there financially. So that's really tough. Like, trying to find any team that would take on Sabonis is crazy. Like, would Golden State want Sabonis? I mean, it's intriguing, the offense that you can unlock with them. It is, but I don't know if that's really what they need. Right? And you have to like throw in, I mean, say you throw in Kuminga, Moody, and Hield just for that purpose. Like, I don't even know if Sabonis has like much trade value given the 2 years left on the deal at 42 million after this year. So this does work financially. Kuminga, Moody, and Hield. And I think if you went to a Warriors fan and you're like, Kuminga and Hield for Sabonis, they would do that any day of the week. It's just like giving up Moses Moody, who's like a good 3-point shooter. It's just like, yeah, and Sabonis and Draymond being on the same team again is kind of funny. I haven't checked Moody's 3-point shooting in a minute, but like, is it at, still at 40%? Like, that is pretty valuable for Golden State, and you're going to trade away Moody and Buddy Hield. There's some floor spacing issues with Jimmy or with Draymond out there, and Pod's inconsistency, and what Al Horford are you getting on a night-to-night basis. So, I don't know. I think if I'm Sacramento, if I can get a team that would take on Sabonis, I would look at that. I know that was your premier asset back from Halliburton, but I feel like he's going to hamstring you. I know Toronto was a team, we kind of talked about that in the offseason. I just don't think that they would really want to do anything too drastic right now. Miami, obviously not for Sabonis. Chicago, maybe, right? Like, they can get there financially for Sabonis. It's just hard to think of a team that would realistically do this. Going back to the Nets idea that they don't have their first round pick next year, they could probably be intrigued about this idea. Because Sabonis can elevate their floor a little bit, and they can maybe build the system around Sabonis where they have all these like pass first guys. Now, having Michael Porter Jr. on your roster doesn't really make a lot of sense with that. I don't even know if you'd want to do Michael Porter Jr. Like, say you did, let's say we did Nick Claxton and like Terrence Mann. I just want to see the financials on this if this works. This does work with the apron. I mean, okay, now you would have to throw in at least one of the young point guards. I don't think you would have to throw in Powell, but say you throw in Traore, right? Like, there's probably a roster construction issue, but Traore, and then they say you throw in, I don't know, one of the Knicks first round picks that you got from Mikal Bridges. So Sacramento at least gets a rim running, better defensive big man than Sabonis, a far worse and limited offensive player, but at least you got somebody there. You get a wing in Terrence Mann, who's actually been fine when he's been healthy this year for Brooklyn. You get a project in Traore as a point guard that can, hey, learn behind maybe Shruder, Russ if they're even there, and you get a first round pick from the Knicks. It's really tough to figure out Sabonis' trade value. Like, I don't even know who wins that trade. I don't even know if that's something that is even close to what his package is out there. Charlotte, I mean, yeah, like I went to the LaMelo Ball well earlier, but say Charlotte was like, I don't know, Kalkbrenner's been good. Like with Sacramento, I mean, in order to go like keep LaMelo Ball, it would probably have to be like Sabonis, or excuse me, Miles Bridges. Say you do like Josh Green, and say you do like Liam McNeely, right? Does that work for Domantas Sabonis? And then you can, say we send Zach, or no, excuse me. I guess Sabonis is making 42.3, so it's not like an insane amount. It's definitely gettable. So this does work. Bridges, Green, and McNeely, you get a first rounder. Bridges can at least, I don't know, 10 command for you. And then draft capital would have to be in this as well, because Green, I don't think is much of an asset. Bridges, I don't know, optics wise, if that's a great idea to trade for him, but they've done worse in the past. So that's Sabonis. I think the Sabonis teams are pretty much limited out there as well. And then the Lavine teams, like, I don't know, would the Clippers get desperate here at one point? Because the Clippers are 5-13 right now. 5-13. They just lost to the Lakers. They've had some bad losses you can see this year. They're currently 24th in net rating. Kawhi Leonard's kind of calling out the team in terms of health when he's somebody that has struggled to stay healthy. James Harden has had to put so much on his back as a 36-year-old. I mean, it would easily be John Collins and Bogey going to Sacramento for Zach Lavine, who basically replaces what's his name, Bradley Beal. Now they're hard capped by the first apron a decent amount, so this is extremely tough to figure out. I mean, say we send like Brook Lopez. I don't even know if this works right now, so let me see. Okay, this does work financially. I don't think that's enough. Well, what's appealing for Sacramento is you don't have to worry about Lavine opting in for $48 million next year. You're kind of off that contract going forward, but Lavine's not like a bad contract because he's still a productive player. It's not like he's, I don't know, Bradley Beal last year in a way, or it's not like he was like, if you remember the Russ contract in LA, maybe the final year of that LA deal was pretty bad. Like Chris Paul's like last year was a pretty hefty deal in San Antonio, or excuse me, Phoenix, before he got traded to Golden State. The John Wall Supermax didn't really age the best. So like, it's not that bad for Lavine. It's not like Ben Simmons bad. And for the Clippers, they don't have many draft picks that they could trade. Now they could throw like a swap on a swap. Like they have a Philly swap at one point in like 28, I think. I don't know if they have swaps in here. So like you could send a first to Sacramento. Sacramento goes, okay, we'll get some salary relief after this year. And we are going to get at least one pick from, I don't know, say that, how desperate does this team get this year? Do they trade away their 2032 first? I don't know if the NBA is cracking down on aspiration. So that could be like you find a desperate team like the Clippers who need another offensive weapon. I mean, the Clippers this year are pretty abysmal defensively. Like you would have, I guess, at full strength. I mean, at full strength, it's Harden, Lavine, Kawhi, Jones, Zubats, which is a good like 5 group, but Jones is hurt right now. Kawhi gets hurt all the time. I mean, Batum, like Beal's out for the year. Batum is not what it used to be. Chris Paul is, I don't know if he should be out there. And like, you're putting a lot of faith in Kobe Sanders, a second rounder. Conan Niederhauser might have to get some reps if Lopez goes. Chris Dunn is still a fine enough rotational guy for your team. So I don't know how desperate they would get with Lavine. So I talked about Lavine to like Detroit. I don't mind. Like Brooklyn, we've talked about. I don't think Washington makes a trade with the Wizards. Lavine to the Bucks, I could see the vision of that. I don't know if Chicago's really going to be a buyer this year. I mean, we could talk like Paul George money going to Sacramento, but like, I don't even know if Sacramento would want to do that. And you would have to ask for like one of those Clippers picks if we're giving like Lavine for George or something like that. All right. So those were kind of like some of those ideas that I talked about for Lavine. I don't know if there's any other team that would really go after Lavine. Like, I don't think Portland would. I don't think the Rockets would. Like, I'm trying to think like for the Rockets, right? Like, I do think we could go through some of the other teams or players that could get traded on this team. like with the Rockets, like somebody like Malik Monk. I know it kind of stinks optic wise because he's a great veteran to have, even though he's not playing, but the Rockets are a good team. The Rockets are what, the 3 seed in the Western Conference, 4 seed, excuse me, 11-4, second in net rating, 9th in defense, second in offense. Their offensive identity has been great this year. They're one of the better 3-point shooting teams in the NBA, and they could win games by like 22. I know the Suns were on a back-to-back and had some injuries, but so did you, and Kevin Durant didn't play, and you could still win by 22. This is the best Kevin Durant team since probably the 2021 Nets, so it's been a minute, and I think just having that $25 million contract, I don't know. I would think about moving it. So say like Fred VanVleet goes to Sacramento, you could probably do him straight up for Malik Monk. That works financially. I think you could maybe get Keon Ellis as well in this deal, and then obviously, you have to lead with some draft capital. You don't want to trade away Tari Eason. You don't want to trade away Reed Shepherd. Those guys have been too good this year. So, like, would you trade away the Brooklyn swap next year? I think there is some appeal to the Brooklyn swap next year to sell higher in it right now while Brooklyn is bad, not knowing that Brooklyn is going to have plenty of cap space this offseason, a reason to be aggressive to try to lure Trae Young or try to go after a big name because they don't own that first round pick. I think it's tough to sell to ownership. Yeah, you know what? We're going to still go through the rebuild not owning our pick this year. I expect Brooklyn to make some type of win now moves in the offseason, and you could package something like that where that pick is probably, I think that pick closer at the end of the year in 2026, the Nets, if I had to make a bet today, I think they would end up closer to the 14th pick in the lottery than the first pick, just because I think they would have a reason to be somewhat aggressive going into next year with a little bit more flexibility roster wise. So I would maybe package something like that. Maybe you don't want to get, it's tough to like part ways with Fred VanVleet, right? Because he's a great veteran to have in your locker room. You could probably do Dennis Schroeder as well if you look for a little bit better of a ball handler than Malik Monk. I guess there is a little bit of a financial issue for Sacramento. Yeah, you could throw in like Dario Saric in this or something like that. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So something like that can work financially. You can waive Dario Saric or whatever. But hey, you're getting 2 good guards for somebody that's not even going to give you any production this year. That's why I think like Houston being this good, it gives you an incentive. While Amen Thompson is under the rookie deal, Şengün's great extension just kicked in. Kevin Durant is still playing at an elite level. Like, yes, Kevin Durant might be good for 3 more years for all we know, but it's just like scary because he's what in his age 37 season. Like, what if next year is the year? It tapers a little bit. It might not. Right? Like, I believe in Kevin Durant's ability. It's just like the what if, like, this might be the last year you're getting Kevin Durant at an all NBA level. So that intrigues me a little bit for Houston to go after somebody like or to go after and use that Fred VanVleet contract. I mean, Minnesota needs a point guard desperately. The McDaniels, Randall, Gobert, Ant lineup has been very effective this year. So I'm sure, like, Sacramento would be interested in Naz Reid, but I don't even know if you would have to get there. Like Dante. I mean, like, you'd probably try to package the Mike Conley expiring and say you did Rob Dillingham for Dennis Schroeder. I just want to see if this works financially. I don't know. I think if you're Sacramento, the what if of Dillingham is maybe appealing to pull this off because then you're out of the $14 million of Schroeder next year. Dillingham's contract ascends a little bit, but Conley's an expiring deal, which definitely has some value. So I don't know if you would have to get first rounders in this. Probably not. Like, say you took, sorry, I'm looking at Sacramento's seconds. So say you looked Minnesota, they have some draft capital that they could work with. So say you send them like 2 second rounders. They own even Indiana's second rounder this year. Didn't even know that. That pick could be 34. I would probably do this. I don't know if you're a Timberwolves fan, if you prefer Schroeder, who got benched this year and is under contract next year, or you'd prefer Malik Monk going forward. I think I like Schroeder's defense a little bit more. He's a better creator. I mean, the efficiency hasn't been great this year, so yeah, like, what am I saying? Throwing in seconds. I don't know. I don't know if you can continue to, like, have the what if in Dillingham for Minnesota. That clearly has this window with Anthony Edwards. Like, I don't think Orlando is going to have too much flexibility. I mean, Detroit could always probably bring back Dennis Schroeder, right? Cleveland probably doesn't have the flexibility to get Dennis Schroeder. Toronto could maybe use another point guard, but I don't really think they're going to be that aggressive this year. Miami, no, I don't think so. Dallas needs a point guard, but I mean, unless you're looking into 2026, like 27. Dallas is a team that, like Brooklyn, I could see being aggressive in the offseason just because they do not own their first rounder in 2027. I think Charlotte owns it in a way. Let Let me see. Dallas, if I go to their 2027 first rounder, Charlotte owns it, top 2 protected. So yeah, I guess that gives you a little bit of a blanket. I can't believe Joe Dumars couldn't slap that on the Derek Queen trade in the offseason, just make it top 2 protected, top 1 protected. So that hurts a little bit. And yeah, like I could see Dallas being maybe aggressive in the offseason. Not aggressive, like insanely aggressive, but yeah, get Dennis Schroeder, could play point guard, but they're getting Kyrie Irving back eventually as well. Some team is probably going to trade for Keon Ellis for like scraps, and he's going to end up being like a great rotational piece for somebody later on. Just kind of going through here, Denver, I don't know if they're going to have too much flexibility to make a trade financially going forward. I mean, the Clippers have plenty of guards, at least with like Poole and Murray's coming back and Jeremiah Fears. So yeah, I don't know if there's going to be that much of a robust than a shooter market. Like Phoenix, like that's a team I could see. It's tough to really get there financially though with them, because do you want to trade Allen and O'Neal? You're probably not moving Allen for Schroeder. O'Neal, I could see the vision. Like there's a 1-for-1 Allen for O'Neal swap, makes sense for both teams. Does that work financially? Because you get another wing in Sacramento. Like I don't even know if there's really that much appeal to doing this if you're Sacramento. For Phoenix, I know you get another point guard, but Gillespie's been pretty good this year. But I do think Schroeder is a nice piece to have on your team. I like Schroeder over the next 2 years, I think, more than O'Neal. I know Schroeder hasn't been great this year. I don't think he's like fully cooked, right? And he's completely washed. So yeah, maybe that market's a little bit not as robust as I thought. Like Malik Monk, probably same appeal out there. I mean, if I look at maybe some of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the NBA this year, like would a team want his, like Indiana, like none of these teams are really buying. Maybe Portland. Does Portland have like I mean, the Portland Trailblazers have had plenty of injuries this year, and they're going to have Dame back next year. Looking at their tradable contracts, I mean, Robert Williams, I guess, isn't expiring like that. Okay. I could actually see the somewhat appeal of Robert Williams for Malik Monk. Now they're off by about $5 million, but it does work with the CBA. So that's something that could make sense. I mean, it gets Sacramento out of a little bit more tax money next year. We know that they want to do that. They traded away Valanciunas for Saric, a clear downgrade to save some money. I'm sure Portland would have to kick in a second rounder or two to make this trade a little bit more appealing for Sacramento, because Monk is an objectively more useful player right now than Robert Williams. So I could see that for them going forward. I mean, the Lakers are definitely in there as well. I don't know if Sacramento really is in the business of helping the Lakers. I know it's a rival, or it's a rivalry between those two teams, but I think the Lakers do have some interesting tradable contracts in Vanderbilt, Vincent, and Kleba that can get you there pretty quickly. Like, say you're the Lakers and you kicked in Vincent and Kleba. At least you get the potential in Vandy, I know. And say you kicked in Dol to connect, who I'm sure Sacramento would be interested in. And we said Malik Monk going to the Lakers and Keon Ellis going to the Lakers. Does that work financially? It does. I mean, if Keon Ellis is going to walk for nothing, and Malik Monk into Dol to connect, who at least has some shooting upside on a 2-year deal, like it's not a sexy appeal whatsoever. I don't know if the Lakers don't have that much draft capital to work with. Like they can't trade, I believe, next year's pick in a way. They do own their first rounder this year, so like it could be something theoretically like this. I think next year it's top 4 protected to the Jazz, so you really can't trade that. So yeah, maybe there's a first rounder or something like that going into that. I don't know if the Lakers are in the business of trading first rounders, unless it's for like a good enough rim runner, screen setter for like Luka Doncic going forward. Derek Lively would be interesting. So yeah, I think like I could come up with 1,000 different Keon Ellis trades, because I think every single team we're looking at should trade for Keon Ellis. It's a tradable contract, and I do think he can be better in a scaled up role where he's actually having consistent playing time anywhere else other than Sacramento right now. So I didn't really come up with that many DeMar DeRozan trades. Like, I don't know. It's essentially like a 1-year deal. You have to guarantee him $10 million next year. It would have to be like a desperate team in a way for DeRozan. Like, if there's no other option for the Clippers, yeah, like DeRozan has been pretty much available. He's been way more available than like Kawhi Leonard over the last few years. But like, does him and Kawhi get kind of redundant? Yeah, it does. Going through the Eastern Conference, like Detroit, I don't really like that fit there. Milwaukee, like if you're parlaying Kuzma into DeRozan without having to give up capital, draft capital, sure, I could see that. if Sacramento wants a younger player. I could see that going forward. Miami, I mean, they always made sense for a DeRozan team in the past, but I'm not really sure what they're doing right now. Atlanta, no. Dallas, if they were like buying at the deadline, but Dallas, at this point, they're probably in the market of getting a better draft pick. So I don't really see there being that robust of a DeRozan market like the Pelicans. Sure, they don't own their first rounder, but at that point, it's just kind of a sunk cost. You don't want to mortgage the future anymore to not have DeMar, or just for DeMar DeRozan to maybe get you to the 10th seed in the Western Conference at this point. So, yeah, like, I don't know if there's anybody else here that's really worth talking about getting traded. Like, I guess Russ is somebody I didn't really talk about too much. Now, any team could trade for Russ. It's a $2.2 million deal. Once again, it's like tough. Like, who wants to actually trade for Russell Westbrook, who's been one of the better Sacramento Kings this year? But it's just like, I don't know. It's just like, do you trust Russell Westbrook to adapt to your role in your new system? Like, he's probably loving it in Sacramento this year, right? Like, he's getting 11.5 shots a night, a little bit more than what he was getting last year in Denver, still playing 28 minutes a night when maybe in August he didn't think he was going to be on a team this year. I mean, once again, a team that doesn't own their first round pick, like the Pelicans, the Clippers. I don't think he's going back there, but like one of those teams, right, that doesn't have their first round pick, that wants to make it as bad as possible for the team that owns it, like Milwaukee, Phoenix. Like, I think they were linked in a way to Russ in the offseason. So those are some teams I would say keep an eye on. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know if you did. Let me know if you enjoyed like the team aspect of that going forward. Because I think for yeah, some of those teams, like maybe the Clippers, I could do a version on this as well. Some of the teams that I think could be at the forefront of selling this year at the deadline. So yeah, drop a thumbs up if you guys did enjoy. Let me know maybe what player team you'd like to see a version with this next. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.